If you've watched the first video, then you know a little bit more about my story, the pattern that kept repeating, and that moment on my office floor that made it impossible to ignore. And if you're here, something probably resonates. Maybe you recognize a little bit of yourself in my story, or maybe you're living your own version of it right now. Or maybe you're here not quite sure, just knowing something doesn't feel quite right and you're trying to figure it out. Wherever you're coming from, this video is for you. Because right now I want to go back to something I mentioned at the end of the last video. The signs that were building long before that morning on my office floor, the ones that I didn't know how to read at the time. Here's the thing about depletion. It doesn't show up all at once. It's not dramatic at first. It doesn't announce itself. It starts quietly, gradually, easily dismissed. And because the signs are subtle, we can get very practiced at explaining other reasons for them. I'm just tired. It's busy season. I'll feel better once that project is done, once the kids are older, once everything can settle down. For people who push forward, the go-getters, the caregivers, the high achievers, the people who find meaning in being busy and productive, it's not easy to slow down. It's not easy to find rest. There's always something that the busy life is producing that gives us proof that we don't need to slow down yet. For me, the signs started with bad sleep, but I kept trying to fix it from the outside. Sleeping pills, progesterone, CBD, and THC oil. Some things helped temporarily, but masking the symptoms doesn't really address what's happening underneath. From there, I stopped eating well, and I stopped exercising. I even stopped spending time in nature, which was always something that filled my cup. I kept looking for external reasons for how I felt. From the outside, everything looked fine. But my body kept turning up the volume, and by April 2024, I had a rash in various parts of my body that was hot and itchy, and on top of that, my sleep started to get worse. And what I know now is that there were 3 distinct stages of depletion happening at that time. I just didn't have a way to recognize them. I actually want to show you something here, a breakdown of what those 3 stages look like. Because having this visual made such a difference for me in understanding what my body had been trying to say. So there are 3 stages here: whispers, warnings, and alarm bells. Whispers are those earliest, softest signals, the ones that are so easily to brush past. Afternoon energy dips, sleep that's not the same, a quiet sense of being a bit off. These are the body's first nudges, gentle messages that your rest reserves are getting low. Warnings are when your system starts working harder than it should to keep you going. Persistent fatigue, increased irritability, emotions feeling closer to the surface, difficulty making decisions. You're still functioning, but now it's at a cost. And then alarm bells. This is the point where it becomes impossible to ignore. This is where I ended up on that office floor. And if you're somewhere in the 3rd column right now, alarm bells don't mean you've failed. They mean your system is asking for a different kind of support. So with all that in mind, I want you to take a pause, just for a moment. Not to diagnose yourself or figure anything out, just to notice. Where are you right now? Are you possibly in the whispers, or the warnings, or maybe the alarm bells? Maybe some of these sound familiar. Feeling tired when you wake up, even though you've had a full night's sleep. Reaching for caffeine or sugar in the afternoon just to try and stay awake. Losing interest in things that used to feel meaningful and joyful. Emotions that tip quickly, or a kind of numbness that's hard to shake. A sense that you're going through the motions of the day, but aren't fully present. This isn't about judging where you are. It's just information. Information your body has been trying to tell you for a long time. One of the hardest parts in all of this, and I can say this from my own experience, that even when we recognize we're depleted, we still reach for things that don't actually restore us. Maybe we try and sleep more, or we go on vacation, maybe clear our schedules, but end up filling it with things that aren't restful. And then we still wonder why we're exhausted. That's what I want to explore in the next video, because understanding what doesn't work is a surprisingly important part of finding what does. I'll see you there.